Okay, there's a couple products we use here to hide this seam. The first thing we use is wood repair epoxy putty. Okay, this is like a JB Weld. Same scenario, it's just a putty. So this stuff rocks up like concrete. Within an hour of this stuff being applied, you can actually take machine equipment over it and it will machine finish it. So in other words, if I had part of the face doctored up as it curved over, I could take a router right around that within an hour and it's gonna polish that smooth, just like our original router did. So all you do with this stuff, yeah, I would wear gloves, but all you do is you're gonna peel this back here. We don't need a whole lot. It doesn't take a whole lot. And I'm gonna pinch about half of this away. That's what it looks like. Just wrap the rest of your putty back up. Stick it back down in there. Air is its worst enemy. You're gonna take this and it's two-toned. Looks like a dog treat all the time. So all you wanna do is just start pushing it, look, together. You're just gonna knead it. So once it all gets really kneaded really good, see it'll all kind of turn one color there when it's kneaded really well. You won't have that two-toned. So it doesn't take long, 20-30 seconds. Knead this together, and basically what we're gonna do is we are gonna shove this down in this joint. Now, let me just tell you this right up front, right out the gate. While I'm kneading this, if you notice our top is already sitting on a surface, ready for seal coat, ready for a flood coat. We do not have to move this top for nothing. That's why everything is staged here. That's why the plastic is sitting on here like it is, because this is a 10-foot wide as long as we want roll. So it's sitting here bunched up so we're not tripping over it right now. When we get ready to do our seal coat and all that, we grab and pull this slack out so that we don't have to worry about resin getting anywhere. The reason you don't want to move this, we're getting ready to put this in here. Okay, the biscuit joints already make it strong, but it's not strong like it needs to be. If I were to pick this side up and no pressure under this one, we could get this side over here to tweak just a little bit because the biscuit joints are only going to do so much. This is not even going to fix that problem. We're just simply trying to clog this trench right here to block it from anything falling down in it. That's exactly what we're doing, because this top will be painted along the way we go. Then it will be seal coated over the paint color. So we'll get into all that. Just stay with us. We'll get into every bit of that. Now this is kneaded really well. It's all the same color, and I can feel that little bit of heat in my glove. So all you want to do is just take a little bit of this, just like this, and I'm just pressing it in there. We don't care how pretty it looks, how smooth it looks, none of that. Okay, I'm just trying to push it flat, get the bulk of it off, and keep rolling. It's going to look like a mess. It's supposed to. We just want to clog this. Just like that. Then I come with my finger, get that excess off. And it's going to cause you all kinds of little problems, and it's sticky on top of all that. It does not matter that this is kind of ballooned. Okay, if this was drywall mud, this would be horrible. We're not looking for smooth, because again, this stuff's going to rock up to where when we take a sander over it, the only thing that's going to be left is a pinstripe line right here. Okay, then we've got another product we put over that before we paint it. So the whole seam needs to look just like this right here. just like this. Okay, so look, we've got this all filled in. And let me just tell you something about this. As cool as this stuff is, epoxy putty, it's very hard to form, it's very hard to shape, like you can imagine. It's like trying to work with clay. The whole purpose, it ain't to be flush and having a pinstripe line, it's to literally clog that valley. So it doesn't matter, now that we're done filling this, it doesn't matter that I can see little skateboard ramps, little things down in there. None of that stuff matters. We're just trying to clog this so that we can put something smooth on top to get a pretty pinstripe line. So when I was pushing that just a minute ago all the way down in there, and it was putting this baseball type mound on top, we don't want to have to sand all that out later. So it's easy why it's still working for you. Once you put it in there and get that mound going, take you a little flat razor blade, set it right on the wood, and just go back and forth to get that extra off that you can still ball back up and reuse. That is this to this point. Its purpose is to bond that joint, help strengthen, but it's really not even for strength. It's just to clog the hole so nothing can go down in there and or leak once that paint application goes over. So that's why we're working on this like that, so that the paint lays over, then our seal coat lays over the paint. That's going to make it super strong. Then the flood coat encases everything and makes it picture perfect. So this was step one. Now let's take you over here and show you this seam that we already had done this yesterday. Let's show you what step two of this seam is. Okay, so for this second step at the seam, look at the seam here. This has been sitting since yesterday, almost 24 hours. Now, I don't have to. It just needs to sit about an hour. When we formed this yesterday, we were done for the day, so we didn't care how long it sat here. Minimum an hour, and then you can do what we're getting ready to tell you to do. You'll notice right here, these are all-purpose wood fillers, okay? The difference in color to us depends on our base color, what we're doing. So the top, the pretty top that we just showed you at the beginning of the video, that was a black paint, followed by a black seal coat, and then a black flood coat. Then it was a couple of different colors in that liquid flood coat, and then we mended them all. That's obviously the rest of the videos. We're going to get into that. The reason for the different colors is just to help hide it underneath the paint. Really serves. You can use white for everything. You can use a dark walnut for everything. We just try to get closer to the colors that we're shooting for, is the whole reason we buy different color ones. This though is where this is very, I can feel the texture of this seam under my finger. This is going to help this seam feel like the butcher block does right now to my finger. It's gonna, if you cover up your eyes, you won't be able to feel that. That is what this is for, okay? And I'm gonna show you a little demonstration. Now, before you do this, make sure we had already used a 220 pad on our little orbit sander, and we ran it over to where nothing was left but the epoxy putty. So we're gonna use the walnut color. Like I said, it doesn't really matter the color, but here's what we're trying to do. As jagged and kind of as 3D as this joint is, this is going to make this joint smooth. So I'm going to take a little bit like this. And of course, look at that, Tom. My tip's clogged. Let me get that off, hang on. There it is. Kind of like a caulking gun. I had a little bit stuck down in there. All right. Now I'm just squirting that out just like that. Look. See how squeaky clean all that is. That's what we're looking for. Just like that, because all that is smooth, very smooth. And that's going to be able to sand right out and give us that little pinstripe line we're looking for. All right, y'all, so this is the last little step right here. All right, we just walked you through that. It's going to look like it does until it dries up. Okay, so the wood filler, before you can apply another coat, you're talking 2 to 6 hours for each coat of the wood filler. It only takes us 1. It just needs to be smooth. We're not worried about if it looks perfect. We just don't want any type of buildup or lip. When you take your finger, I just applied this no more than 10 minutes ago. You want that to be a smooth transition from one slab to the next. That's all you're looking for. The paint is going to lay over the top of that seam. Now we've trapped anything from getting down in that crack. The seal coat and the flood coat, when we get into that, that is what's going to make this whole entire project super strong and completely perfect. So one last little thing I want to show you is we actually hooked this to make this and create this bend, and there's the sink drop. So I don't exactly do, these seams are always so tight already. Okay, they are already so tight, there is very little crack there. To be honest, we could probably, as small as this is, we could probably paint that corner and dodge this altogether. But we do it just because we do everything else that way. So I'm going to take a little bit, we do this a little bit different. We use our finger. Because my finger kind of takes the shape of that corner, it's going to lay this in here and get it to look real smooth. When we actually go to sand that out, we take a piece of 220, and instead of putting it on the Orbit sander, we fold it like that and put that fold right there in the corner and work that like that. That's how we sand that out to make that look so clean looking. But here's how we go about it. I'm going to take some of this down here at the bottom, wait for it to kind of get out there. There we go. And then I'm going to roll that right up that corner. And then I'm going to come up top and roll it down. Now, as ugly as that is, that's why I'm going to use my finger. Now look. So I'm actually taking my fingers here and just lightly shaping that to fit that, just like that. That looks perfect. That looks absolutely perfect. We're gonna let that sit on there and dry because we're actually done with this one today. We're not doing any more to it. The ones with the sinks cut out and stuff, they're already ready to go. So now in this same video, now that all the fabricating's done, we've showed you how to cut your sinks. We've showed you and told you how to conjoin multiple pieces to make bigger slabs. Now that all this stuff is done, if you notice every one of these tops, the one that's already finished and this one, we have black bases. So don't forget, before you go to all this trouble to work on your finished side, make sure whatever your base color is, meaning the paint choice and the seal coat color choice, make sure that that is already painted on the bottom to keep the wood from breathing. Now that we have all this stuff set up here and staged, it would be a bad time to have to move any one of these with these seams like they are. If we waited till tomorrow and we actually pick this top up and move it, we're gonna crack that. I promise you, we'll crack it. It is not meant to keep it from cracking. It's meant just to fill that void, that little trench, and to put step 2 on top and then a coat of paint over. Then when we do a seal coat, that is gonna lock everything. After the seal coat, we could technically come over here and pick this guy up and not have to worry about anything. But Just keep that in mind so you don't go through all this trouble, go through the process, and then realize that you did not set this up to flood coat and all that with your plastic and everything, and you're having to move this. Chances are you're going to crack that back. So lastly, before you all go, we're going to show you on these two right here, this base color, the paint going down here is going to be white, just like the white right there that's already underneath that we already showed you. So we're going to go ahead and paint these on top. Nothing crazy, just like you know how to paint. Watch, we'll show you.